Hey, Travel Brats!
Happy Travel Brat Tuesday! We've got Soph and Nat
Coming to you from the studio. We are pumped today, guys, because we're taking you back to good old Texas.
Tejas.
Never seems to get old. Okay. Oh, I didn't. Okay, there you go. It didn't turn on.
Get the roll, you know?
But,
Just
guys, if you've never been to this small town in Texas, it's not something that you would think of right off the bat when you go to Texas. But I had such a blast here. And it was on the same trip that we went to McKinney and Dallas and Fort Worth, and it's called Richardson, Texas. Richardson, Texas. Again, not the first thing you'd think of, but we stayed here for a wedding that we went to, a friend's wedding.
This was the actual location of the wedding.
Yes.
Okay, because we've talked about all the places you've been in Texas, and it was for a wedding, but this was the final destination, essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so it was, some people would think the most boring place, but honestly, I think we had so much fun in this random place in Texas. So yes, guys, real rewind. We flew in, we went to McKinney, then we went to Fort Worth, then we went to Richardson for the wedding, and then we went to Dallas, and then we flew home.
Oh, nice.
So that was on that particular trip. So what we did first, we were looking at hotels, and this is not like, it's not like McKinney. It's not like a little kind of quaint historic town. It's more of just like a random town. But random town.
I can't wait for you to tell me more about this. I'm so intrigued. You keep saying things and I'm like, this really does sound like nothing exciting.
I know, I'm really like hyping it down, and then I'm going to bring it back up.
Yep,
I'm going to bring it back up. So we did stay at the DoubleTree. What's funny is if you guys are like in a place kind of like this where there's not a lot of little boutique hotels, the DoubleTree, honestly, it really is consistent. Yes.
Yeah.
It's consistent, solid. My husband calls it the Cookie Hotel.
The Cookie Hotel.
Because he's like, oh, we're at the Cookie Hotel. And I was like, what? And he's like, because they always give you a cookie when you check in.
That's so cute.
I know, and he loves cookies.
Oh my gosh, I love
it's
that.
so funny. He's
Well,
like,
there you go.
Yeah, 12-year-old in a
Hotel.
32-year-old's body. But yeah, so it's the Cookie Hotel, guys. You get a nice warm, two warm cookies when you check in. And then, honestly, the rooms, they're just consistent. They're nice. This one was actually high up, so we had a nice little view of the, town, of the not super boutique little historic town. We had a nice view of the random crap. Just kidding. And it was kind of raining when we were there, but it was still, I love to be high up. Like, if you're staying in a bigger hotel, I love to be high up. Like, I love the view. So we got a fun little view. And then, if you guys are staying there, again, there's other chain hotels that I do really like under, like, Marriott. There's another hotel, Aloft. They have Alofts everywhere.
Aloft.
Again, super consistent fun. They kind of get, like, a nice little modern vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I like them. And then, if you stay in that particular Aloft, it was just down the street. It was actually the recommendation for the people coming for the wedding.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
We didn't stay there because we found a better deal on DoubleTree, but they actually, the Aloft, what was nice about it that we didn't have in our little like area is it was in like a cool, more modern shopping center where I think it had like a movie theater, and then it had really good, our best friends ate at, it was called the Union Urban Barbecue, I think. And it was so good. It was fun. So that was fun. And then what we did, because I was like, what do we do here? And I was searching around, and we always talk about theater. Nat's a theater extraordinaire. I like to go to shows sometimes. I'm not as extraordinary as Natalie, but I like
theater
shows.
lover.
Yeah, theater lover. So my husband has a favorite movie, and it's called A Few Good Men. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's like young Tom Cruise with the one tooth, in the middle there. Yeah. If you remember those days. But basically, he loves that movie, and I was like looking up for random things to do in this random place, and I was like, oh, there's a little theater, like a little hole-in-the-wall theater. And if you guys know, we love Players Circle. We love like the smaller and bigger ones, but like how I got to know Natalie was she came down here to stay and do a show at this smaller little hole-in-the-wall theater. So this one was though like it's like 1/3 of the size of Players Circle.
Oh wow!
It was so
like
here
super tiny.
Yeah, so I find it on the internet. They have like a little website I call, and they're like, yes, come do. We'd love if you do a review on our theater. So we booked tickets for A Few Good Men. They were playing A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
There goes my computer dinging. But so we went, and I was like, did not know what to expect at all. So we get there, and we're in this shopping center, and it's like 8:00 at night, and like it looks like the front of a closed old like Chinese restaurant with a blind shut, and I'm like, where is it here? Oh, there's a sign. Okay, there's a little like sign, and so we go in, and it's like 180 degrees different. It says like red carpets and like red curtains, and like it looks like an old little like not like a cigar lounge, but like those old red and gold colors, and then it has like playbills all over the wall, and it's really neatly decorated, and like an old
That sounds
piano.
amazing.
Yeah, and they had free snacks. Okay, free wine, free coffee, free oh yeah, we're snack girls. Sure, free. She's like,
I'm like, free snacks.
Oh, I know. I hate when all the theaters. You're like, can I have a little thing of popcorn? I'm like, that'll be $20.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
Yeah. So it was so fun.
Who runs this place? Some random billionaire who doesn't care
people.
about people that come see theater?
I think it's these like local people that just love their town. Like,
but I don't understand why you can't tell it's a theater from the outside.
Well, it was just, I guess it was like dark.
Not well
you know the horror movie star was a dark and stormy night. Like,
oh
literally it was like a dark and stormy night, and I'm like, is there anyone else around here? Like, are we gonna die? No, but it was like, what was so funny is I didn't know exactly the address, and this must just be a small town because it was literally like 0.5 of a mile away from the DoubleTree. I was like, we don't have to leave 30 minutes early. We have to leave like 2 minutes. I was like, right here. So we walked in and we got our snacks. Oh my gosh. And then you get to go get more snacks at the intermission.
Wow.
Oh, it was so fun. So I had like popcorn and wine. Then I went and got coffee and cookies and a brownie. Oh, it was so
cute.
fun.
Now, how many people were actually attending the show?
I think the night we went, there were like, maybe like 25 people. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did it fill up? Like, how many
small.
people could...
Yeah, so here's the thing. Example, like, to give you guys a visual. Sorry for the people listening. But to give you guys a visual, like, you know how the theater we like in Fort Myers is kind of like, it's like a rectangle, or a square rectangle, and then there's 3 sides that have people on them.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, like, 2 sides, kind of, like 2 sides. So those are 20, small turnout, and they had, like, cute little chairs, but it was comfy, and you could bring your snacks in, and, like, what was amazing is it's this really small theater. The acting was great. And because it was a small theater and they didn't have many big fancy props, they did kind of you may know if there's like a theater word for it, but like they would shine the light on someone and kind of that would be the scene.
Oh, it was just more minimalist. They didn't have like a big set. They really didn't.
They didn't have like a crazy set. Now they did have doors that their 2 doors would open because a lot of it is lawyers talking in offices about if anyone knows the story.
So it's like
something
a
happens.
Light change tells you where you are.
Yes,
and,
exactly. If anyone knows the story, it's something happens to a Marine at Guantanamo Bay. He dies, and then they're investigating it, and then there's these 2 guys young men in the army that they're blaming for it, and so Tom Cruise is the assigned lawyer to the case, and he works. So anyway, they're in the law office, and then at the end they pull those kind of that set out, and it's this courtroom. So that was very cool because the big scene, the big final scene is the courtroom. So anyway, very good, amazing acting. They were all in army uniforms.
That happened to be Mike's favorite movie, and it was the show that was playing.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Isn't that cool? It's like isn't this more fun that we're in a different place, and rather than like just go see a movie that we could see down the street in Fort Myers at home,
the culture, the artistic culture of the city, right there.
Yep. And what was amazing was we got to know kind of the people that ran the theater that were kind of behind the snack bar. We were chatting with them, and then they let us know like where to go buy fun cowboy hats, where to eat breakfast in the morning. They're like, our favorite brunch spots are. So it was honestly really, really fun, and that was one of the highlights of that entire trip. And we went to those 4 different places, but Mike and I still talk about how good A Few Good Men was.
Aww, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that was really fun. And speaking of the actual like stuff that they also recommended, the people there, they recommended a really good breakfast place called Fairview Farms. So we took Mike's brother and then one of our good friends, Jared, came with us. Guys, shout out to Jared. He's been on a previous episode on New York here on Travel Brats. But we went to eat breakfast at Fairview Farmers. Super like fun little Instagram bougie brunch place. It was big. It was beautifully decorated, and it had like anything from breakfast skillets that looked amazing to like high stacks of waffles with like flowers and like drizzle. It was really cool. Like drizzled honey on top. So that, and then other recommendations that they gave us were Lone Spur Cafe. Lone Spur. So did I say that right? Lone Spur Cafe and then Eddie's Diner. So that I love local like recommendations.
Always. And just not only because you get to see more of this like, what's the word I'm looking for? The culture of the city or the sides of the city that show you who the people really are, but also supporting local.
Yeah, I love it. I love small businesses, and so this town, it really had it. And for the background on why the wedding was in that town, because the 2 live in New York. The bride and groom lived in New York. That she's from Richardson.
I was like, one of these people has to be from this town.
That's like her
otherwise,
hometown.
Okay.
Yep, and her dad was a pastor at a church in that hometown. He married them, so they really
their
wanted
whole
to,
community, all her people. That's
like
sweet.
all her friends were back in Richardson, so they did it there. And then it was called Chapel of the Heights Church. And then honestly, I loved the fact that the wedding, like just the kind of the way they decorated the wedding and everything was very like Art Deco, like rustic venue. Yeah, and then they do have actually, it's not quite as like, I would say like large or cutesy as McKinney, but they do have a little historic section of Richardson, and that's where they had their reception. So yeah, it was like in a fun, you know, where you've got the brick walls and the fun little bars and things. So they had a nice little venue. There was like a perfect little room there, down there in historic downtown Richardson. So yeah, I think overall, like, it was a fun little stop. Yeah, it was a really fun little stop, and I would say if you're obviously a local to Texas, we know we have some travel brats in Texas, that's a fun little weekend getaway to go do some like small town stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that, guys, if you're in town and you're by Richardson, obviously it's near Dallas, Fort Worth, and McKinney. Stop there on your way.
Well, it's interesting about Texas. I've actually never been to Texas, but Texas feels like all the towns are so far away from each other. But what you have is of course the big towns are pretty far away, but then you have these little cute towns that,
so fun.
You know, of course back in the day when Texas was getting started, these little towns represented those stops along the way to bigger
and that's
places.
what's so fun. It's like,
so they all have their own like flavor, or you know.
And they're like fun. You could always, I think that some people are like, oh, fun places, boring places. It's like you can find a lot of fun stuff to do
wherever you go. Of course, that's my philosophy. I think that's our shared philosophy, that like truly there's no boring place. Like some places, yes, give more excitement just off the bat and are known for that. But who you are, you're going to take that energy to wherever you go.
Exactly.
And if you're a person that likes to have fun and likes to find fun, like I love that you just were like, all right, let's research, let's do it. I'm like, if I was, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I'm like, well, I'm going for a wedding, so I'll just go for the wedding and not, you know, do anything.
Yeah.
But
I may do that I may overextend that privilege that my husband gives me. I'm like, we're going to stay here 2 weeks, then I'm going to work from here. And
yeah,
he's like, no,
exactly.
please. And like, we're going to do all this little theater here and there. But yeah, no. And again, guys, it was called the Richardson Theater Center. I don't know if I mentioned that. So it's pretty basic and easy to Richardson Theater Center. So it's fun. Go check it out. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.